it's never the case. And yeah,
So, how do the older queens treat you?
the older queens are definitely one of the nicest queens in the community, I'll say, because they've been in the game for so long, especially the colored queens. They've
Hmm.
experienced a lot worse than I probably have, like when it comes to racism or sexism or anything, or or internalized homophobia. Like so, just having them there as pillars makes it easier for me as a younger person in the
Hmm.
community to thrive because they're the ones I go to advise. They like I may be young and in with the trends, but at the end of the day, they are the pillars of drag. They have been in the game and the business for so many years. So having them as mentors and advisors has just been such a great opportunity for me as a young drag performer.
Okay. Now, I heard you say something in the beginning of the last question. I
Yeah.
heard you say colored. Why did you say colored?
Uh, Well, as a person of color, as a black person, I just feel like anywhere I go, the first thing people see is my skin tone. What
Okay.
so in you and it's a lot more different when you are a black person. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
you could be Asian, you could be brown, you're still lighter than the black person most of the time. So
Okay.
like there's this sense of colorism that I've seen in the community sometimes. Just
Hmm.
like the lighter Asian girl might get more recognition than the the black person just happens to be who just happens to be black. And even though there's still people of
You're
color,
cutting out.
and even though there's still people of color, like the skin tone and how dark or light it is usually comes into place. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, something that I saw that are you a student at George Brown now, or you finished?
I'm done school.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what did you major in?
I majored in fashion design.
I'm sorry?
Fashion design.
Oh, fashion design.
Yeah,
So,
fashion design.
so,
Yeah.
so what do you plan on doing with that?
I don't really have any major goals with that right now, but
Okay.
as of now, I want to be able to merge those two things together. Like
Hmm.
as Luna Dubois, all I've been doing with fashion lately is just going to events. I get invited to shows and magazine parties, so literally any fashion event that happens in the city. So I go as Luna, so I go as like a personality or a fashion icon, if you want to say that, because it's just really about the looks for me most of the time, but I also want to start making my own looks and you know, merging that with my drag and yeah,
Okay. So you want to be an entrepreneur and have your
yeah,
own fashion line.
yeah, in the
Now,
long run.
okay. So now that drag is in the mainstream with RuPaul,
Yeah,
and we understand, you had a post about. I'll get to that in a minute.
yeah,
The racism within the village of Toronto, well, within downtown Toronto, our gay village here.
yeah.
Now, but what I want to talk about before that is, do you think, because drag in Toronto is dead, and now even the bar that you were working in, Cruising Tango, that bar might not open back up. And Toronto is overrun with drag queens, all
Yeah,
fighting for these little stages and these little spaces.
yeah,
But yet, RuPaul has told you, as a young person, you can have the world. This stage is huge. This,
hmm
come over here. But yet, do you think you can make a living with drag now in Toronto?
uh that's a very good question, also a very tough one. It honestly just comes down to the status of who you are as a queen and what opportunities you're able to get. Like if you are someone that's doing for a long time and you're popular, you probably could make a living off of drag. now with the world right now, coronavirus, we're all not doing anything. I could not even answer that question. Like before the pandemic, I was only doing drag. I intended on getting another job for the summer to make ends meet, but that could not happen for obvious reasons. So now we're kind of just stuck at home and just doing online drag. And as far as having the world as a stage, if that opportunity ever comes, absolutely. Well, and now thankfully we have Canada's Drag Race, so maybe some of our girls will get on there and be recognized all over the world.
Now, we hope that happens, but I've been
Yes.
in this community 31 years,
Yeah.
and I've seen it come and go.
Mm.
And now the reason I wanted to talk to you is because as a young person, I wanted to understand your experience of just being in the bars, how you fit in, how you feel about fitting in, how they treat you, and it's just the mere fact of your connection to
Yeah.
our community, which is a very important thing, is to be connected to your community,
Yeah,
whether it's for
absolutely.
resources, opportunities, the mere fact of your social life, the mere fact of just being who you are in our community where you can feel comfortable. Now, in the last 3 months, 4 months with the coronavirus, and now the protest. Now, did you take part in the protest?
I couldn't for the first one because I was performing for a fundraiser for the Black Lives Matter movement. So I was still kind of doing something at that time, So yeah, but I could not be at the protest
Okay.
after.
Now, where is the issue? How do you feel about the community in general? The downtown village, how do you feel about that in general?
And do you mean in terms of racism or just culture or?
I just want you to just say, if Luna Dubois is walking down Church Street, how do you feel? It's
Well,
different. When I first came to Canada 30 years ago, and there
yeah.
was no Church Street, there was Isabella Street.
Hmm.
Isabella and Young is where
Yeah.
we hung out. Now, when I was on Isabella and Young, I was young and everything was amazing, and I was so happy I fit in, and I was
Yeah.
discovering myself. Now, you, Luna Dubois, is walking down Church Street, let's just say before the pandemic, because this is an aftermath of something that everybody's going through. But before that, how did you feel just going to the clubs and the village?
Uh, I felt like safe in the community. I felt like I could walk anywhere, go anywhere, no matter how I look or how I'm dressed. Like it felt like a safe community. And I feel like Toronto as a whole is very accepting in terms of culture and sexuality and gender. But at the end of the day, there are still some clause here and there that need to be adjusted and fixed. But overall, it's a pretty great city.
Okay, now that you say that,
Yeah,
this is where I want to go to your post.
yeah.
I saw the post about you felt that the community or the bars themselves are racist, maybe towards you or just towards what you observe. Now,
Yeah.
can you explain that to me?
So to be more specific, it was just about the drink and O'Grady's and mainly not even the staff, just the owner. Like I said, if you saw my post, I said when I started drag, I started at the drink, and when I started performing there a lot for the open stages, I started getting gigs, and I started noticing that this man
Can you
was.
talk into the microphone?
Oh
Keep
yes,
talking.
okay, yeah. So when I started performing at this bar, I started noticing that this man wanted me to perform there